everybody, it's Mark Crilley. I'm back with another How to Draw video. Today we're going to be learning how to draw a face in profile, really the entire head in profile. This is a notoriously difficult thing to do, but I'm here to give you some tips and tricks for getting all those lines in just the right place. Now I've put a grid here that is 5 inches on all sides. That works out to around, just 12.5 centimeters, just a shade under 13 centimeters. Then you split that down the middle, and you take the lower right-hand corner and you do the same thing down there. You split that down the middle, and this is where most of the facial features go. That's why we need a couple extra lines down there. But I'm going to try to do as much of this as possible real time, and we're going to jump into it right now. So looking between these 2 points, I'm going to find a point that is just a little bit over to one side, and that's where the back of the neck is going to come up like so. And as it reaches, pretty much vertical right there, we're going to start to have it curve back to form the back of the scalp. Now, you could even make a little point right here that is about, what is that, a quarter maybe of the way from that side, and that is actually where the head is going to stop. As I studied photographs of the human head, I did notice that it is taller from the top of the skull down to the chin than it is from the front to the back, and that's why this line is not meeting, forming that perfect square over there. But you can use that crosshair line up there as a good place to have the scalp meet the top of the line, maybe just a little to the other side of that. And as you're coming over here, if you want to figure out where is this line going to come down and become the forehead, maybe think about you're heading towards here, somewhere around here. That's where it's going to come to a rest. And so I'm going to do my best actually trying to use the natural pivot point of my hand to get this line to sort of gracefully come down here and form that front of the forehead where it will meet that line. And then just down here, think of just the tiniest little triangle. That is where it's going to begin to head down towards the bridge of the nose. And I'm going to stop right there actually, because we're going to have a lot of stuff to do down here when I zoom in later on and we start getting into the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. But for now, let's figure out where is the other line of the neck. If we're drawing a female character like I'm doing today, you don't want that neck to be too wide from front to back. So look at this area here from that point to that point, and maybe just come a little bit over to one side of that. And again, that's where we're going to have that line of the neck connect to the jaw, but I'm going to hold off and get into all that stuff later on. For right now, there's really only 2 things left to do while we're zoomed out, and that is to get the placement of the ear. Let's get that square right there and use that as a guideline for getting the contours of the ear in place. And I'm basically getting it like so, so it just maybe reaches a touch above that horizontal line there. That's the problem with teaching a lesson like this, is every head is slightly different, and you're trying to create a kind of average face of an average age and different stuff like that. So you can't, these principles are not rock solid across all different people. But anyway, this is where you would place the ear. And I've got a separate video that is all about a good simple way of drawing the human ear, and I'm going to put a link to that in the description of this video if you want to get a step-by-step lesson in drawing the human ear. Unfortunately, I don't want to, if I got into that with this video, I would be bogging things down and making it too long. So I will just refer to my own other video about a fairly simple way of drawing the human ear. For now, you can just watch me putting in these lines. Some of you actually may just be able to hit pause maybe and do a pretty good copy of what you see there in terms of the human ear. But I'm ready now to do one final thing before we zoom in and get into the details of the face, and that is to figure out where does the hair begin. If you have a woman whose hair is pulled up off the back of the neck, somewhere around here, maybe a little higher up the ear. I think I'm going to erase that and let's have it go a little higher up the ear. and meet right there, and this is where, you know, all the hair that is growing and being pulled back, that's where that's going to start. And then we're going to have this flow ahead here, and maybe look at a line that is a touch closer to that line than down here, and that would be where the top of the forehead is going to be somewhere around there. Again, everyone has a different shape to their head, and so there's no hard and fast rule for where this line is supposed to be. But I'm going to go ahead and make a slightly curved line like that, maybe a slightly S-shaped line that is going to delineate where the hair, again, is being all pulled back. And we'll get into, maybe at the very tail end of the video, I'm going to get into the contour line of the hair, but this is certainly not going to be a video about drawing hair. Let's go ahead and get into drawing the facial features. I'm going to refocus the video right down onto this little grid here in the lower right hand corner, and again, hopefully all in real time, I'm going to show you how to draw the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Okay, so everything has kind of been child's play up until now. This is the tough part, drawing these facial features. If you look at this one square here, the upper right hand part of the grid, this is going to help me place the eyebrow, and happily the eyebrow is going to rest pretty neatly upon that line. Notice that because you're seeing the face in profile, this little far end of the eyebrow is where the hair is kind of trailing off, and you know, the thicker growth part of the eyebrow is at an extreme angle here, and we don't see it in its full, you know, left to right view. Notice the little gap of distance between the forehead and the eyebrow. Now, before I go any further, I want to get the line for the contour of the nose. I think that's going to help us in terms of placing the remaining facial features. So this little point here, conveniently, is the tip of the nose. And so if you get that in place, you can head back here, I would say sort of a gentle diagonal, you know, far more vertical than it is horizontal diagonal line, and then just gently have that reconnect with that forehead line right there, and that's where we get the bridge of the nose starting. And now it is time to buckle up and try to get this eye in the right location. Think of a letter V, and if you go down from where you had that eyebrow, somewhere around there, maybe just a touch closer to this vertical line, is where we want to get this letter V, and keep it a little bit small, because I think we get a little carried away, especially those of us who love manga, imagining that the human eye is larger than it actually is. But we're going to get a little V shape here, and connect the edge of the V shape with a curving line that symbolizes or represents the iris. And I'm going to go ahead and finish that off. Because you're seeing this in a profile, you don't see so much of it. It's fairly narrow from front to back. But here's where you can imagine that the eyelid is actually extending a little bit out from there, right? You can actually see the thickness of the flesh of the eyelid in a profile, you know, if you zoom in. And this is where you're going to get that the line of the upper eyelid, the fold right there. And if you want to give her eyelashes, why not go ahead and get some in here. I like to keep this lower eyelid line very faint, although I will sort of darken it up here towards the bottom of the iris, so as to indicate just a little bit of eyelash action right there. And there you go, we've got the eye pretty much exactly where we need it to be. Notice how far away the eye is from the ear, much farther away than in my imagination. When I looked at photos, I was like, wow, actually the ear and the eye are quite far separated. Now this is where we get into the super tricky part, and that is where to draw the rest of the nose, the lips, and the chin. And I think one more diagonal line is going to help us an awful lot. And I'll just go ahead and draw the line first, and then I'll let you have a good look at it, and hopefully you'll be able to replicate such a line on your own drawing. Okay, so have a look at that, and see that it crosses here just a shade closer to the right than to the left, but pretty much starting right there at the tip of the nose. And this is an excellent guideline for figuring out where the chin is going to be. So I'm going to go back to the line of the neck and have a little tight little curve there, and then have that ever so slightly diagonally come straight across to where we drew that line. And that is going to help us get the chin right where we need it to be. Okay, now here's where things get very, very delicate indeed, and you have to really focus to get the lines where you want them to be. The nose is touching this line, the chin is touching this line. Neither of the remaining lines of the contour of the lips is going to come quite as so far as to touch that line. And I know I've done a lot of guidelines in this video, but I'm going to do just one last one. It is a hint of a horizontal line that is a touch closer to the nose than to the chin. This is going to help us figure out where is the mouth really as it's located. And I do believe it is slightly higher up toward the nose than it is to the chin. Okay, here we go. Time to really take on the risk of drawing the lips in profile. It really is not an easy thing to do. So I'm going to curve back this line and have it reach to where the upper lip is going to begin. But before I get into that, let's go ahead and draw the nostril like so. Just a little line is enough. If you want to do a hint of the other edge of the nostril, you can go ahead and place that in there as well. I don't like to do too many lines for delineating the nose. And I feel it's easier for me to first begin by getting the structure of the lower lip in place, realizing that this line here is the mouth itself. Think about a line that juts out near to this diagonal line as the sort of base of the lower lip, gets real close to it, and then curves back. And that is your line of the lower lip. Now the upper lip is going to be considerably farther away from that line, right? So if you can compare those two, this one's getting real close, this one's pretty far away. And as you bring that line up there, it's time to have it sort of curl back this upper lip area and rejoin the area of the nose. And I do believe that's a pretty good system for getting a relaxed looking contour of the lip. Now I'm going to take this line that is for the mouth itself and have it come back just a little bit, and just with a bit of shading create that upper lip line like so. And then for the lower lip, you know, if you have a character who's wearing bright red lipstick or something, you could darken that in a lot. I'm not going to. I personally feel just hinting at it is my preferred approach. And there you go. I think we've kind of got the lines in place. It really is quite a challenge to draw the mouth and get it in the right place and have it look relaxed. But we're going to darken in a bit of the iris here. And I'm going to refocus the camera so that we can go ahead and draw that final contour of the hair. Okay, so I've pulled all the way back here and I've erased most of the guidelines. One thing I'll show you is just adding a bit of shade here underneath the jaw is a great way of finishing this off. You don't actually see a line that connects the jaw with the ear. You know, in cartooning you very often do, but in real life there is no such line, certainly not with a youthful looking character like this. But getting a little shade in here I think accurately represents what happens with the light and shadow coming down. And I may add some more shade later on, but I thought I would show you how I would add just one particular type of hairstyle and show how much it's going to come outside of the lines that we've used for the skull or the scalp itself, and how the hair would come up like so before it is pulled back and reconnects with that line that I'm making there. You know, this is certainly not meant to be a video about drawing hair, but I thought it might be helpful for some of you guys to see how I would finish this off in that area. But the rest of this video, unfortunately, is gonna have to be time-lapse. I'm going to finish off all this drawing, the shading, add some darker line work, and then when I'm done with all that, I'll be back with a few final words. Okay, well, there's my video on how to draw a face in profile. I really hope that it helped you out. But before I go, I always like to thank those of you who have supported me by getting any of my books, like The Drawing Lesson, a graphic novel that teaches you how to draw. The Two Pencil Method, this is definitely packed with lessons that are a lot like what you saw in this video today. And my latest work of fiction, The Mighty Onion. Can't say thank you enough to those of you who support me by getting any of those books. But I think it is time for me to lay down this pencil. I want to thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And I'll be back with another one real soon.